Alright, Eagles Nation, I'm back again. Now, I was supposed to do this video a while ago, but of course y'all know my uncle Steve passed away, so I've been kind of down, but he's in a better place now. So rest in peace to Uncle Steve. I love you. Watch over us. Family gonna be alright. We all love you. Now, this video for all the Eagles Nation is my message to defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz. Now, when they hired Jim Schwartz, Eagles Nation was excited. Like we was loving it because of the simple fact that all we could remember was 2014, where you had the Buffalo Bills second in the NFL with 49 sacks on the year. You know what I'm saying? You was going to bring this attack defense to the city of Philadelphia. It was a great hire. We were so happy. Like, I was raving and ranting. I was so happy. And I still like the hire. I'm not even going to front. Like, I like what he brings to the table. But lately our defense been looking a little like real suspect. And you know, like I said, when shit start to go wrong, you start to look around and start to notice and analyze a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? And the other day I saw they asked Fletcher Cox, why the sack totals down and all of that stuff. Now, to analyze everybody on the defensive line, like I said, first of all, I feel like Brandon Graham should be the right defensive end going up against the left tackle. That's his natural position. I feel like my man Vinny Curry, they done paid him. They done gave him all of this money. He should be starting going up against the right tackle. I feel like Vinny Curry is the best pass rusher on this team. So it is what it is. Cox and Logan, of course, you know what I'm saying? They should be in the middle. That's where they are. I like Connor Barwin, but in the beginning of the year, it was all noted that he was not a scheme fit. He was not a defensive end. You know what I'm saying? He's more of a natural outside linebacker. Whatever the case. But his pass rushing skills, I guess, and the fact that they probably tried to work out a trade and they couldn't, you know, they decided to test his pass rushing skills. Now, in the beginning of the year, the depth chart said Connor Barwin was going to start at defensive end and Vinny Curry. Vinny Curry sprained his MCL in the third preseason game, so they switched it up and they gave Graham Curry's spot. And Brandon Graham's been the bright spot on defense, probably the brightest spot on defense this year. Now, you know, in the beginning of the year, you know what I'm saying, we got, I think, 25, 26 sacks on the season, and we done played 12 fucking games. That's an average of 2-point-something sacks a game. So when you start to play these quarterbacks and you get no sacks in the game whatsoever, like you start to watch the game, you start to see how quarterbacks, you know, counter that whole attacking scheme. You know what I'm saying? You start to sit back, me anyway. You start to sit back and you start to analyze the situation and you start to realize something. And I know a lot of y'all know I done said this a lot. Jim Schwartz has now become the Chip Kelly of defense. What I mean to say by that is, what I mean to say when I say that is, you start to realize he's pretty one-dimensional. And when you hear the commentators and the analysts start to talk about his attack scheme, they say he wants to apply as much pressure as possible with a four-man rush. Okay, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? And having Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, you know, guys on the four-man front that you have faith that's going to get that pressure. If that's all you're going to do all game, you're not going to blitz. You're not going to send a bunch of guys to blitz. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be so easy to counter that. Just like Chip Kelly and his attack. Something about this attack scheme really starting to fuck up Philly football team. Because all Chip Kelly wanted to do was attack on offense. But defense has found a way to counter that, and he had no adjustment. Now, Jim Schwartz, over the course of the season, I started to realize something. He's pretty one-dimensional, and it seems to me like he has no clue, just like Chip Kelly on offense, he has no clue how to switch it up and get a little bit more complex with the defense. Now, the other day they asked Fletcher Cox about the sack numbers being down and everything, and he said, well, they putting extra guys on the offensive line to protect. So you do the math. And what I gather from him saying that is, we don't ever switch it up or throw nothing at offenses that they not ready for. So you do the math. If you're going to put 6 men on the line against a 4-man rush, of course there's not going to be no pressure. If every game they realize all you got to do is double me all game, of course I'm not going to get sacks because there's no extra pressure coming. Like I've been saying to y'all all year, like I feel like Jordan Hicks should be shooting them gaps sometime, especially against teams that don't have good running offense. You know what I'm saying? So you do got to be responsible for the front seven and the signals and the calls and all of that. But when you're going up against teams that don't really have a strong run game, you should be shooting the gaps a lot more, and we should be applying extra pressure a lot more. But Schwartz doesn't do that. So in return, okay, Fletcher Cox is taken care of because he's getting doubled. Benny Logan is on his man. Connor Barwin's not a real prototypical defensive end, so it's going to be real easy going up against the left tackle. We're going to win that matchup. The only guy you really got to worry about is Brandon Graham. So sometimes a quarterback drop back and he's not even worried about the two guys on his left side, on his blind side, because Benny Logan is a great defensive tackle, but the fact that you got 3 guys on 2 all game is really virtually impossible to ever really get any pressure from that point of defense and on that point of attack, because you got 3 against 2. Sometimes it's 4 against 2. You know what I'm saying? So my message to Jim Schwartz is start switching it the fuck up. Start getting a little bit more complex with the defensive schemes and the way you attack offenses, because teams already done figured out how to beat that 4-man rush. They figured out how to beat our secondary. You know what I'm saying? They know the linebackers is never coming through the gaps. So the quarterback pretty much could just stand there and say, okay, if they apply any pressure, I'm getting rid of the ball. Like I said in a lot of my other videos, you know what I'm saying? All it's about watching Brandon Graham, who's probably the bright spot on defense. And even him, he only has 5 sacks. And he hasn't had a sack in about 7 games. So that should pretty much let you know right then and there, like, I got to do something about this, because we ain't had a sack in I don't know how fucking long. You got fans questioning, like, are the guys we paid money worth it? Now, I'm more upset with Jim Schwartz than I am Doug Peterson, because at least Doug Peterson is dealing with, like, I'm not going to say misfits, but at least Doug Peterson is dealing with inconsistency that we knew was a possibility based on what we seen from our receivers last year. We knew the drops and all that was going to be a possibility. But Jim Schwartz is dealing with veterans. You know what I'm saying? When you got a front 4 of 4 veteran guys, you got a Pro Bowl guy from last year who had 9.5 sacks. You got a guy like Connor Barwin, who career high in sacks in the year was 14.5. You got a guy in Vinny Curry who career high in sacks was 9. Brandon Graham, natural defensive end, natural athlete. You're not dealing with misfits on defense. The most inexperienced guy on our defense right now is Jordan Hicks. And he's in his 2nd year. You know what I'm saying? So my message to you, switch that shit up. You need to sit at home and figure out some complex ways to change it up and confuse these offensives and these quarterbacks, because right now what we doing, and it's sad that it took me damn near 7 games of pretty much no pressure, nothing to do this video, but it comes out a lot better when you frustrated. So y'all can hear the frustration in my voice. My message to you is switch it up. Sit your ass at home and figure out a lot more complex defensive schemes, because they're making our defense look terrible. These cornerbacks you got, like Nolan Carroll, Leotis McKelvin, like, teams are just going at McKelvin like it ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? And right now, even if you get rid of these two guys, I'm not trying to go into next year with a rookie draftee, two undrafted rookies from this year, Aaron Grimes and CJ Smith, a 7th round pick in Jalen Mills, and I guess we're going to keep Ron Brooks because I think he signed a 3-year deal. McKelvin signed a 2-year deal. Nolan Carroll signed a 1-year deal. So I don't want to go into next year with a bunch of inexperience at cornerback. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I put up a post in one of these Eagles rooms about us taking a run at Stephon Gilmore. But also Captain Munderland might be a good pickup in the offseason. He's going to be a free agent. And there's one other guy, I forgot his name, but Gilmore is going to cost us, so I don't really see that happening. But we ain't really got nothing to lose or gain. Maybe making a run trying to get Stephon Gilmore. But I'm not trying to go into that also with you putting Malcolm Jenkins in the nickel in the slot, because I don't like him there. I want Malcolm Jenkins and Rodney McLeod to be Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor. They back there, that's chemistry. They establishing themselves as one of the best safety tandems in the league. All of this working with a player versatility is not working. Malcolm Jenkins got beat for about 5 touchdowns this year. So stop putting Jenkins in the nickel. I don't care what you do. Get you a nickel cornerback. Put one of these young guys at the nickel and let them experience their growing pains in the ends and not playing the nickel cornerback position, and maybe they can work on it in the offseason. I don't like Malcolm Jenkins in the nickel no more. He needs to be at strong safety along with Rodney McLeod at free safety, and that's where he should stay at. You know what I'm saying? Do something about these corners. But the main topic of discussion for this video was the pass rush. Like, you need to start getting the linebackers more involved in shooting those gaps. You know what I'm saying? Switching it up a little bit so these quarterbacks don't know what you're going to do. Like, our pass rush is so predictable. This is why we don't get sacks. The mobile quarterback and the quarterback that gets rid of the ball. The kryptonite of our pass rush. I did a video on that a long time ago. So I don't know what you're going to do for the rest of the year. But, yeah, even snatching Captain Munderland, you could put him at the slot. He's a natural slot corner anyway for Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? So you can't go wrong with that. But like I said, adding 1 or 2, maybe 3 playmakers to the team won't hurt. But I don't want a complete overhaul of a bunch of new players coming to this team. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to keep McKelvin here for another year, you're going to keep Ron Brooks here for another year, like, make a run at a decent free agent veteran cornerback that could come here. I know a lot of fans think Gilmore going to cost a lot of money and he's going to be a bust. You can't be afraid to take a chance. You know what I'm saying? If we get one shutdown corner here, I can live with, a bunch of prospects at the other position. Like, if we can sign a decent free agent, the draft, it'll be less pressure in the draft. You know what I'm saying? To get a cornerback that we need. But right now, like I said, simple and plain, I'm about to end this video with this. Jim Schwartz, switch it up. Get a little bit more complex with this defense and with this pass rush. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what you're going to do or how you're going to do it, but you got to get more complex. You can't just be one-dimensional with attack. Because by now, if you don't realize that teams already know how to beat this pass rush, beat our secondary, whatever, I don't know what to tell you. But this defense done turned into a fluke. So switch it up, get complex, do something about that, and put Malcolm Jenkins back at strong safety where he belongs. And that's how I'm going to end this video. Peace.